console final is just moments away. Usmakabyle. If you know eFootball, esports, you know the name. Goes up against Kalahard, a newcomer to the eFootball esports scene. Wes, I know he streams quite a lot, but this is a very, very tricky task he has ahead of him, going up against a three-time world champion.
Yeah, as arenas go, it's very different from being on your couch or in your gamer chair with your setup and with your followers or your chat that are kind of behind you. That is one thing. It's a very different thing when you're against essentially the eFootball boogeyman that is Usmakabyle, 3 times world champion, 3 times eFootball pro champion. Knows a thing or two about winning titles, knows a thing or two about winning knockout games. Again, for Kalahard to come through this, he's going to need his absolute A+ game here.
That he is. We are underway in the final. Usmakabyle taking on Kalahard. And Chukwueze here, going to start the game off very strongly, getting to the byline, and Leao's almost able to get ahead to it, but he'll just bounce behind for a goal kick. And I'll tell you why I bring up that Barcelona bruise, if it were, Wes. We speak so much about Usmakabyle in these knockout competitions, his accolades he's got. He will always eat up those group stage results. That's his bread and butter. But, well, I'll come back to it as there's a real chance here. And still not cleared, actually. I believe this is Usmakabyle we're watching in the changed white strip. We'll get confirmation of that, but the group stages are easy for Usmakabyle. He doesn't face adversity in those types of situations. It tends to be in the close knockout games, the penalty shootouts, where sometimes it just doesn't go his way. There's a real chance here, though. And it looks like there's going to be a strike away, but, well, pressure's still on. I just wonder how much of that Barcelona club event a few months ago will be still playing on the mind of the 3-time world champ.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's knowing Usmakabyle and the way that we have seen over the years is that defeats, he's not too bothered in the sense of that he doesn't really leave that much of a marker on him. It almost just adds a bit of fuel to the fire for him to come back and try and do even better. So it is no surprise to see that he's got walked through a group stage undefeated and now he's in a final once again. So it'll just be a case of how he navigates this, as we said, one-game shootout between these two teams.
Benacer is dispossessed and just getting confirmation. Looks like it is Kalahard in the all-white change strip. Going up against Usmakabyle, no stranger to iterations of this competition and even going as far back as PES League. You name it, he's won most of it. But the thing that's eluded him thus far in the season is a club event final win. Can he do what he aimed to do in Barcelona here for AC Milan? And can Kalahard really upset the odds? Has some defending to do, and so far has looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, and also it is an interesting one to see here whether it's South Americans that might be the undoing of Usmakabyle. If it would be the second final against South American opposition, and it'll just be a case of whether he can overcome it and get over that final hurdle this season. Of course, as you mentioned, we've seen it time and again in co-op, in 1v1, in PES leagues, in eFootball. We've seen it across the board that he's able to produce performances that will blow away oppositions. As you say, a really good ball into Chukwueze.
Well, he's blown away the defence. Chukwueze, as you say, looking for Giroud. Maybe along the floor, not the optimal option for the big Frenchman. Kalahard, of course, the 30-year-old from Mexico, the Americas regional winner. Defensively has weathered a lot of the early storms that Usmakabyle typically brings to games such as these. You just get the sense that with both players knowing what's at stake, with the apprehension of Usmakabyle, I'll come back to that as he's got defending to do. There's a stunning strike queued up by Kalahard. With the apprehension of ghosts of club events past for Usmakabyle being just one game away from finally punching that ticket. But also Kalahard knowing the caliber of his opponent. You just wonder whether or not the two might cancel each other out here, and nerves might not bring the best out of our two competitors here in the console final.
It's not to mention as well that Kalahard is not a scrub, for lack of a better term. He's no easy gimme game to play against. This is a high caliber individual that through Dream Team is always highly ranked within that online mode. And as you said though, the battles to go in this mode, it's a lot different than with Dream Team, because you have to get used to the players that you're playing with. You have to go through 3 or 4 rounds just to get to this opportunity. So again, a massive credit to Kalahard to get to this level.
Usmakabyle on the charge again over that far side, looking for the overload, it seems, with Chukwueze. There's been a couple of attacks where he's been free, but you're right, Kalahard has proven his worth up to this point. All 8 of our club finalists have certainly done so. It is Usmakabyle nil, Kalahard nil for now. Usmakabyle charging with Liao. But with half-time approaching, well, you would say, again, with all due respect to Kalahard, like you said, no slouch, but Usmakabyle is one of those esports Mount Rushmore type players, as the referee's assistant holds up the number 1. So just 1 minute added on. Kalahard coming in here with the header! Off the frame of the goal! Who else but Usmakabyle's favourite player comes back to bite him and puts Kalahard in front against the 3-time world champion.
It's not just Usmakabyle's favourite player, it's mine from this AC Milan setup. Again, it's really smart play here in this juncture. Gets it around the defender for 1, but it's this point here. He could easily try and cut it back on the deck or on the floor into, I believe, let me just double check who that is. It's Chukwueze there. And I think you're looking at there, potentially a cut back into, I think that would have been Musa. But the smart play is to actually cut it back on a cross and leave it to Giroud, who is penalty spot and there's no one around him, and is able to just direct the header wherever he wants to, finds it off the frame of the goal into the back of the net, and Kalahard goes in with, as you would say, from the form book, a surprise 1-0 lead here. And one more thing to throw in there as well, the separator, which we were all begging for to find out what that was. It was on goals scored between Kalahard and Jonsui. It was level goal difference, level points.
Wow. Went
to goals scored, and it was a solitary goal. And again, quiz question out there for who he got the 1 goal against. The man in the final here was Usmakabyle. That last game where he got that 1 goal proved vital for Kalahard here. And now he's 45 in-game minutes away at a minimum from potentially taking this game and taking a ticket to Tokyo in the summer.
Just going to take a moment and absorb all of that information, as well as the information I think shocked me most. Second half underway, but we saw the stats. Usmakabyle just 1 strike on goal, and it was not on target. Very uncharacteristic. He will be attacking from right to left, in possession now with Benacer. But I think that's a worrying statistics sheet if you are a fan of Usmakabyle.
Good dummy there by Kalahard.
Absolutely, far side. Going to turn inside Benacer with the double touch. That was a good piece of intervention. And much needed, sets Usmakabyle off on his merry way, out for a throw-in, but that's the one thing Usmakabyle does have on his side, is that big game experience, big tournament experience. Knowing when to stick, when to twist. And for Giroud, he's just been muscled off the ball there. Musa with the back heel, Giroud follows suit. Benacer for Usmakabyle, trailing 1-0 in this final. Chukwueze, Giroud inside the box, looking to repay the favour. With how tight it's been, and well, that's a nice cross and headed down. Oh, it's off the post and across the face of goal. I was about to say, with how close it's been, you'd have to say there's not too many chances left in this second half, but well, what do I know? Kalahard just a few inches away from doubling his advantage. That header seems to be where Kalahard is finding a lot of his success, almost scoring again there with the cross.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems to be that almost a go-to move to utilise that physicality of AC Milan. And again, on another day, it clinks off the post and goes in, much like it did in the first half. On that occasion, it clinks off the post, rolls across, and there's no one there to put it home for Kalahard. And again, on the flip side of giving Usmakabyle chances, you can't really spurn any chances either against him, because again, we've seen the attacking capability that he has at his disposal.
You just have to look back at that group stage game against Marios. We saw the young Greek, and I think he hit the frame of the goal twice and scored 2 goals in that game. But it was Usmakabyle who came out guns blazing. Pulisic. Kalahard just trying to make something happen on this near side, but we've ticked over now into the 70th minute of the game, and well, the players have answered the question I was about to ask, Wes. At what point do you make those switches? If you are Usmakabyle, I can almost see him. I know the studio is empty and it's just us in it for now, but I can almost hear the voice of Usmakabyle in my head bemoaning things that could have gone his way in the game but haven't so far. It's now or never for our multiple-time world champion, multiple-time eFootball Pro champion. Back heel to lay out. Adley, far side. Can't beat the first man with his cross, but will win a corner. Headed towards, cross towards the near post, looking for a header. Kalahard well matched. And now, were it not for Theo Hernandez, you may have seen a Kalahard break, but Giroud with that back heel. Vital intervention. Pulisic has stayed up here on the left-hand side. Giroud inside the box for Usmakabyle, just can't get it under his spell. And now Kalahard, what can he produce with the through ball? Benacer tussling, but I think it's Leao who will win. And who's this on the far side? Kalahard is dispossessed. In swinging corner to come on the near side, you'd assume. Under 15 in-game minutes remain. We do have extra time and penalties on the table if we can see an equaliser.
It's a big pause for both these players. We hasten to say it all the time, is that it's almost like the butterfly effect, is that any of these changes could result in a goal or a goal being conceded.
One back here near side for Kalahard. I think what's worrying for Usmakabyle, he's not got too much possession going his way in the final 5 or 10 or so in-game minutes. And
bought a foul there, has Kalahard.
He has indeed. Layout against Tamori.
Oh, I thought he had been given the wrong Kalahard's way. Instead, it's Usmakabyle's.
How important could that be? 10 in-game minutes to go. I, like you, Wes, saw it go the other way. And look at this Kalulu far side. Usmakabyle. It's now or never. Towards Okafor. And the angle just never sat right with him.
It's the wrong player on the header that you'd want. You'd want Giroud in that type of neck of the woods. Okafor, yes, he's fairly decent in the air, but he is not Olivier Giroud.
Usmakabyle trying to turn the screw now. Okafor back to Leao with the header. Wonder if that was a pass, actually. Seeing the man nearest the goal towards the far post. Either way, this has been a much better spell of possession from Usmakabyle, and an unforced error, you would argue. Wins Usmakabyle a corner.
Again, not the type of player you want to be giving that to, especially at this time of the game.
This is how important holding on is for Kalahard. Just shifting players, making sure they're staying tight, staying compact. He knows how deadly his opponent can be. He does not want to gift any chances the other way.
Sostituzione per il Milan.
And here we go.
Numero 80. Lascia il campo per il numero 8.
Usmakabyle's corner.
Una sostituzione.
Towards Giroud, but straight at Magnan. Don't be deceived, we're approaching the 90th minute, but something tells me we might have a couple of minutes added on. And with no one up there for Kalahard. Usmakabyle will receive possession again. Okafor, really nice back heel. It's Adley that far side. Back to Okafor. Can he get inside? That's defensive intervention from Kalahard. And now he's galloping the other way. It's only Tamori for company here. And look at that clock. Now we can start to see how important these passes and territory and possession is. Usmakabyle with the ball now. On the brink of elimination. Leao near side, can't find Loftus-Cheek, and Usmakabyle will be bested. It is Kalahard, the champion from Mexico, representing AC Milan in Tokyo later this summer. David versus Goliath, and David wins.
David smites Goliath in this. I can only describe it as it was one moment that defined that game, and we'll see it again in the highlights. It was that header. On any other day, that hits the post and goes wide, or as we saw in the second half header, it hits the post and goes across the goal mouth. In that occasion, ricochets off the post and hits the back of the net.
Well, we can take a look at some of the highlights, Wes. I know they cut to us and I was shocked. This is no disrespect at all to Kalahard, but the fact we've seen Usmakabyle qualify for 2 finals this season, I did not expect in a million years he would lose 2 out of those 2. That is unprecedented from that caliber of player. But Kalahard just had something about him today, had those finishes he needed. And what a final and what a result for Mexico and for Kalahard. just unbelievable from the 30-year-old, a deserving champion.
Yeah, to come through the as we said, the kind of almost maelstrom that was the console group stage, as it was, in terms of getting qualification through on goals scored. Not even goal difference, it was goals scored that was the separator. To then get into the final with a player that's not dropped any points in the group stage, has the legacy and the kind of the back catalogue of titles, to go in and essentially do a job, because he got his goal, and then you noticed as that second half started to wear on, any time that it was defensively, it came at his defence, it was long ball forward to Giroud and just buy some time, keep it in the confines of the pitch. Clock will continue to tick, and it puts more pressure onto Usmakabyle, who couldn't overcome that pressure, which again is a surprise to both me and you.
Yeah, it's a surprise because Usmakabyle, again, we're used to him winning, but defensively, Kalahard well and truly at the races today, Semra. An unbelievable performance to hold on to that lead, score to get the lead, but then hang on to it against a player of his opponent's caliber. Yeah, with that type of performance, AC Milan have a very strong champion.
Hey, listen, the wild card for the win. We wanted to see the unexpected happen, so it did. And we actually can now cross over to speak with Kalahard, our new champion, who's going to be representing AC Milan in a few months' time in Japan. Kalahard, tell me, how are you feeling right now? You must be absolutely overjoyed.
La verdad estoy muy emocionado, estoy contento por haber ganado este torneo. El Milan ha sido uno de mis equipos favoritos durante toda la vida que recuerdo, y bueno, espero poder demostrarlo más adelante, y bueno, estoy emocionadísimo, contento, y bueno, a ver qué sale después.
He says he's very happy, he's very excited. Obviously, this is a very big deal for him and something that he's wanted to do for a very long time. He hopes that he can continue in this vein going forward, and that, of course, there's still more to come from him. But overall, he's feeling very, very happy indeed. So tell me then, just how you managed to do this, because we are talking about a hugely difficult opponent that not many people get the chance to actually defeat, but you did it with a clean sheet to boot, with a beautiful goal from Giroud. Tell me about this process in terms of how you went into the final, your preparation, and how you actually managed to win in the end.
La verdad es que fue un partido bastante complicado. El hecho de meter un gol o meter ese centro con Chukwueze para que rematara a Giroud, la verdad es que le cabeció espectacular. No sabía cómo le había pegado tan fuerte, pero esto de mantener el resultado es complicado. Jugarle a un multicampeón es muy difícil. Ha sido una inspiración para mí durante mucho tiempo, pero ahora jugar y ganarle creo que conlleva gran mérito, y pues bueno, la verdad es que sí fue difícil ganar contra Usmakabyle.
He said that there is a lot of merit in beating someone of the ilk that Usmakabyle is, the champion, and he's absolutely right. He definitely does deserve a lot of merit for it. But he also spoke to how complicated the game actually was, and he was quite pleased with how Chukwueze was able to make that cross into the box for Giroud to perform a spectacular header to actually get that goal. But then beyond that, to actually continue to defend the lead, he said, was very, very complicated and very difficult. But in the end, he managed to get past someone who has been an inspiration to him for a very, very long time, and who has taken him to the likes of today, now champion. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Kalahard, what is it that we can expect from you whenever you go to Japan? How do you think you'll approach the preparation when it comes to the World Finals?
Tengo muchísimas ganas de ir al torneo, la verdad es que estoy súper emocionado. Me va a costar un poquito trabajo practicar, sobre todo porque hay gente que no, necesito checar con grandes competidores que han participado anteriormente o con amigos para poder agarrar ese mismo nivel, sobre todo con el equipo. No estoy muy familiarizado todavía con el estilo con el que se juega con el equipo, pero mientras más práctica mejor. Sé que en julio va a ser un torneo mucho más difícil, más exigente, pero espero poder adaptarme lo mejor posible y sacarle el máximo provecho a todos los jugadores para poder ganar o para intentar ganar el título.
So he says he knows and understands that the competition in July is going to be much more difficult than it has been up until now, and obviously he's going to do everything that he possibly can to go on and to win it. But he still has to get more familiarised with AC Milan, with the team itself, with the players, and to the style of play. He needs to adapt a little bit more. So he's going to be looking for people he can practice with, which he says might be a little bit difficult, but he does have to look for people who have been in these scenarios before, who have competed at this level, who can help him to get ready, or maybe just play with friends as well. But nonetheless, he's going to do what he can to make sure that he brings his A game when we see him in Japan. And as you guys said, by the way, muchas gracias, por cierto. Thank you very much, Kalahard, and congratulations once more. Go and enjoy your big victory, and we'll see you very